Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about business travel and etiquette in Russia. I chose this country because my husband served a mission in Russia from about 2009 to 2011 and has a lot of stories of their varying customs and mannerisms there. First thing to know is the time differences in Russia. Because Russia is such a large country, it spans over about 9 time zones. Um, so for this instance, I'm just going to be talking about the capital of Russia, Moscow. Um, Moscow, Russia is 9 hours ahead of us in Fort Worth, Texas, so something to keep in mind when making business arrangements and meetings. Um, Obviously, because Russia is across the ocean, you would probably have to fly to Russia, so you need to purchase a plane ticket. In order to travel to Russia, you need to have a passport and a visa. And according to the RussianEmbassy.net, you must obtain a Russian tourist visa in order to enter Russia. And to do this, you must submit your passport with 2 blank visa designated pages, 2 completed copies of the Russian visa application form, 2 passport-sized photos, and a confirmation number of the hotel arrangements, either from an approved Russian travel agency or directly from the hotel itself. Um, and it would also probably be a good idea to make these arrangements to get these documents well in advance, so um, if any problems come up, they can be resolved before then, before your meetings. The currency exchange rates between US and Russia, $1 is equal to about 57 rubles in Russia. And it's also probably a good idea to let your bank know your travel dates and destinations. That way they don't cancel your credit cards, or that way if you arrive in the middle of the night, you can actually get a hold of your bank if they decide to close your credit card down because you spent money at the airport in a different country all of a sudden. Modes of transportation once you get to Russia. You can get from the airport to the city by way of public buses, taxis, or suburban trains. To get from Moscow airports to the city, a taxi will cost anywhere between 75 to 120 rubles, which roughly equals around $1.32 to $2.11 in US dollars. Generally, it costs more to get around in the larger cities like Moscow and a little less to get around in the smaller cities in Russia. From my husband's personal experience, he recommends only taking the buses or trains due to an overwhelming amount of reckless drivers. Feared for his life when he got in a taxi a few times and decided just to stick with the buses and walking places, actually. The textbook states that customs vary widely from one country to another, and understanding and observing these cultural variables is critical to a traveler's success. Something to know is many Russians also speak English as well as Russian because it is actually taught in schools. So you could probably go there speaking your normal English, but it's also probably a good idea to learn a couple of Russian phrases such as hello and how are you, just to show an understanding and interest in their culture. Russia's business etiquette and customs are very similar to ours, but with a few minor differences. Many of these I found on todaytranslations.com. Russians are they view punctuality very high, but then they expect you to be very punctual when it comes to getting to meetings on time. But however, they might not be punctual themselves to either test your patience or as a power move. You should always shake hands when meeting with a business partner or business person, but never through a doorway, always in the same room or both outside, both inside. You should always remove your gloves, even if it is well below freezing outside. My husband learned that the hard way, having upset several people shaking their hands outside with his gloves on. And always maintain eye contact in Russia, as well as the United States. For business meetings, men and women should both dress in formal or conservative office clothing, which I would assume is kind of expected here as well. You should also it's a good idea to give business cards with your information in English on one side and Russian on the other. The textbook also suggests doing so because it is viewed as a courteous gesture. One very interesting thing that I did not know is, and I asked my husband about this as well, and he confirmed it, is never show the soles of your shoes because it is considered very rude and dirty. That would include not crossing your legs. They do not do that in Russia. Very different from the South, what we're used to. So always keep your feet planted on the ground during meetings and when conversing with others. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on business travel to Russia and hope you learned some valuable information. Thank you.